Hello there. I remember you. So I remember seeing you on the Hollywood Squares. You were the guy.
Oh,
that was my first introduction to you because I'm like a little younger than you. I'm about half your age. But I remember that, like, who's that guy with the voice and the hair? That was you. But it made an impression on me to the point where I moved I first lived in L.A. briefly in 88. So I go to Junior's and I see you sitting at the counter by yourself eating soup. And I'm like, I'm in Hollywood. I made it. I'm in Los Angeles. There's Marty Allen eating soup. This is the life I'm going to live. Did you used to go there a lot?
Yeah, well, at that time I lived in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
But I used to go to Junior's Delicatessen.
Good one, right?
A great deli.
Yeah.
Right.
There's not many of them anymore, is there?
Yeah, it's gone. Oh no, it's open. New owner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But delis, they're a dying thing. The deli. There's not that many anymore.
No, you have to go to Africa to
Africa for deli.
They tell me in the Belgian Congo there's one.
Really? Someone said that to
I
you?
don't know.
I thought that was a real tip. You know, I hear the best corned beef is in Africa.
How do you like that cover?
Love the cover. Is that you in a clown outfit?
That's me crying, yeah.
Crying in a clown outfit. Is that whose idea was that?
That's me.
Yeah,
I do a pantomime.
You do? You actually do a clown act? A pantomime?
But a different kind of a clown who's gone through all kind of problems.
Yeah.
And in the moment of his knowing that he's getting older, he suddenly realized he's out there to make the people laugh.
Right.
He puts a smile back on.
Yeah.
And goes out.
Yeah.
It's very, very human, and
sure.
It's Marty Allen.
Yeah.
Because that's the way I am. Mark, to be honest,
yeah.
I'm a kind of guy. I love people.
Yeah.
I enjoy people.
Yeah.
And I'm very sentimental. When the football game comes on and they play the national anthem, I stand up in the living room.
Do you?
And salute.
Well, I mean, it's like, well, you've made it a long time. I mean, you've been performing in front of audiences for a very long time.
Long time.
And, and your character has always been sort of like a very, it's a big, broad character. I mean, Marty Allen, you had a hell of a shtick for a long time. And I don't think that very many people would assume that, who knows what's in there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you, and clearly this, what you're telling me sort of illustrates that you got a big heart and you've made it.
They say, some entertainers go out, they do their job.
Right.
I do it in all sincerity, in all warmth. 3 days ago, I get a letter talking about fan mail from the Ukraine.
Really?
I said, oh my God.
They just got Hollywood Squares there.
I don't know. The girl says, we saw you, we laughed, and I'd like to have an autographed photo.
That's amazing.
And I'm saying, from the Ukraine yet.
I wonder, it's so interesting.
I said, don't give them my home address.
I don't want to get in trouble. Well, it's weird that you can watch, now we live in this time where, like, I sat down this morning, I'm watching, Alan and Rossi clips, from the whole time. I can watch you on the roast, I can watch you on Hollywood
Somebody
Square.
asked me how many Ed Sullivan shows I've done.
Yeah.
I did more than Ed Sullivan.
What was it, like 45, 46?
Somewhere along
How old are you now?
Take a guess.
I'm going to go a young 90.
Not bad.
How old are you?
92.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you got, you're still cranking.
Still going.
Yeah, I've talked to, who did I talk to? I talked to Shelley Berman. He's still
when
sharp.
They told me it's my birthday, and I'm going to be on a Marc Maron show, I got so excited.
Come on.
My hair went almost straight.
Well, I'm glad it didn't. I don't want you to lose your edge. You know what I mean?
Okay, Mark.
So, all right. So let's talk about where it started, because like I'm fascinated.
Well, it actually began.
Yeah.
I'm from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I started out, I always had the feel I was a state jitterbug champion dancer.
Really? So you were a dancer?
I won all kind of contests.
I don't even know
I
what
was the kid in school
that
that made everybody laugh. You know,
I don't even know what the jitterbug looks like. It's quick with the hands and the. So you were a dancer when you were a kid.
I was a wild dancer and
a showman
and a kind of guy in school that made everybody laugh. And they would go to a party, I was the jester and whatever.
Couldn't help yourself.
I felt that's really what I want. I started out journalism.
But what did your father do? Would you grow up in a very Jewish family or what?
My father had a bar and restaurant.
Yeah, so you grew up in the food business.
Well, his bar and restaurant was in the produce.
Yeah.
Mark, you understand where the food and the vegetables came on the train?
Yeah, yeah.
And there was a section, and he had a restaurant and bar there.
Did you work in the restaurant?
No.
No.
Who, me?
Yeah. Never?
No.
Never went down there? Never?
No, you remember they used to have on the famous Kilroy
was here. Yeah.
And I say in all truth, and not too many people know, I think you're the first one know.
Okay.
My dad took chalk and wrote on the train, Marty is here. And guys would come in his restaurant and I said, somebody's writing all over the trains. Marty is here. Who's Marty?
He doing it for you, huh?
He was doing it for me.
So how many people in your family? You got brothers, sisters?
Well, I had 2 sisters.
Uh-huh. And and did you, like, what year, so 9 years ago, so you were jitterbug champion in high school. Did you, were you in the war?
On our side.
Good. Well, that's good.
I was in the Air Force.
Oh, yeah? Did you go overseas?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I was in the 15th Air Force.
Yeah.
We were stationed in Foggia, Italy.
Uh-huh.
We were the ones that bombed Romania and all around.
What was your job in the war?
I had a mastoid, Mark.
Yeah.
In the beginning of my career.
What is it?
It's an ear problem.
Uh-huh.
And the doctor told my family, I don't think he's going to make it. And my grandmother said to the doctor, you're an idiot. He's not only going to make it, he's going to make his family very proud. That's a true story.
Tough grandmother.
That's a great human.
But when you were in the service, did that...
So I was on the ground crew.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. But how long were you in for? A couple of years?
Yeah.
I can't even, and you enlisted, right? That's what people did then. They were proud to go.
To be honest with you, I wanted to be in the service. I wanted to serve my country.
Yep.
And I felt in my heart, I said, I gotta, and my mother says, she's cooking and she says, well, you'll be home early. They'll see your ear. You'll be home early.
Yeah.
And I came home early. Ma, Dad, I'm in the service.
Yeah.
Oh! The soup fell over.
But you were in for a while, though, right? And so you didn't actually see any action, but I
saw, well, we were involved in action.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. Did you stay in touch with a lot of the guys you were in the service with for your whole life?
Oh, yeah. Well, I had many friends.
Yeah. So when you come back from Italy, you on the GI Bill then, and would you go to school? How'd that work?
Well, like I said, I was very hot in journalism. I like to write.
Mm-hmm.
I still write short stories and
oh yeah, and you wrote a book.
And I wrote a book.
Yeah.
The Marty Allen. Hello there.
And this is a memoir.
Memoir of my times with Elvis, with Nat King Cole, with Sarah Vaughan, with you name it.
Steve Rossi.
So yeah, that was the name. I was trying to think of the name.
Well, that guy. So when you come back, where'd you end up going to college?
Well, what happened is when I came back, like I said, I was going to go to school in journalism.
Yeah.
But I felt in my heart, Mark, comedy.
Really?
And so I became like the kid in Pittsburgh that was. I played all kind of joints. I played all kind of taverns.
Doing stand-up?
I played bars. I would do a routine, a crazy routine.
Yeah.
And I'd do pantomime, I'd do dancing. And finally, one day, I became like one of the popular guys.
In Pittsburgh.
And the agent said to me, I got you booked on a weekend with a girl singer. So I said, oh, that's great. Do I know her? He says, I hope you do, because it's Sarah Vaughan.
Wow.
Well, I almost collapsed. I found Sarah Vaughan.
Yeah.
And so I worked with her. Then she took a liking to me, and she made a phone call. Because in those days, Mark, all the singers had an opening act. The opening act was a comedian.
Yeah.
So they would book you to do 15 or 20 minutes to open the show.
Uh-huh.
And then the singer would come on and take over. And she recommended me to Nat King Cole.
Really?
And his manager finally, I was coming to Hollywood with my cousin who was going to school out there. And I says, well, I'll go to Hollywood. And in the meantime, I was doing dates. And then she called Nat.
Yeah.
And I started traveling with Nat King Cole.
Oh, my God. My grandfather loved him. Loved him.
Loved him.
Loved him.
I adored him.
Yeah.
What a man.
Yeah.
Next, I would say, in my mind, Sinatra, Elvis, and Nat King Cole stand out.
Sure.
Who I worked with and who I knew and who I felt such great admiration for.
Yeah, he was a great, real style.
Nat was unbelievable.
And you toured with him a lot?
Toured with him. And then I was in Chicago at the Chez Paris, famous nightclub in Chicago, with Edie Gourmet.
Yeah.
Steve Rossi was a production singer at the Sands Hotel in Vegas.
What's that mean, a production singer?
He was the guy that when the girls came out, he sang.
Oh, okay.
The song.
So like the intro guy. Yeah.
A pretty girl.
Yeah, right. Oh, sure.
And he said to Nat, he says, I don't want to be a singer anymore. I want to do something else. And Nat says, well, Martin and Lewis are a hot comedy team, and I have a young man who is really funny, and maybe if the two of you got together, it would work out as a good comedy team. So Steve called me, and I said, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm making a couple bucks. I'm happy.
You got an act?
Yeah, I got an act. I'm working with
Nat King Cole.
Edie Gourmet.
Yeah.
I said, I'm happy. I don't know. He said, well, if I flew in and talked to you, maybe we could work something out. So I says, well, come on, fly in.
So he's flying in from Vegas?
He flew in from Las Vegas.
Uh-huh.
Well, I see this guy that looked like Rock Hudson. No, he was so handsome.
Yeah.
And then I heard him sing.
Yeah.
He knocked me out. He was a great singer, and he had a nice personality, an attitude. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, let's give it a shot. So I wrote some material.
Yeah.
And we wrote a couple routines, and I worked with him. And we started playing little places where little joints.
Well, now, let me ask you something about that, about the nightclub circuit at that time. These were like usually dinner clubs, right?
Well, there were like private clubs.
Like mob-owned clubs?
Yeah. There were like all kind of private clubs.
Yeah.
There were little nightclubs in those days.
Yeah.
So we played all what you might say joints.
Yeah. Sure.
And I felt in my ear that the audience was reacting. You knew right off the bat they were hysterical. I said, "Oh, it's working. It's really
better than it was as a solo act. You felt a better response when you were with.
Well, not a better response. I felt that they reacted to what we were doing,
to the dynamic. You know,
and I said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot. We called Nat and we said we were ready.
Yeah.
And then he took us and took us on tour. And eventually we ended up playing with Nat King Cole at the Sands in Las Vegas.
Isn't that something?
And after Nat, we were held over with Sinatra. After that, we were held over with Lena Horne.
Wow.
After that, we were held over with that fantastic singer from London, Shirley Bassey. Mm-hmm. And then we ended up, after that, with Paul Anka. One after the other.
So you were in Vegas all year round for years.
I should have bought a hotel or a motel.
What was Vegas like then? Because there was only a handful of hotels then, right?
It was terrific.
Yeah, it was classy,
always
right?
Been terrific.
Yeah.
Vegas, there's no place like Las Vegas.
But back then, because I've talked to guys, who do I talk to recently? I talked to Bob Newhart, and it just seemed that there was a camaraderie to Vegas. That, that everybody sort of knew who was in town.
Well, we knew who was in town.
And did you?
And if I'm working with Nat King Cole, I would go see Don Rickles.
Right.
Oh, in fact, that's it. I had an agent who was a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
He said, "Listen, I just booked an act for 2 weeks. I want you to go down and see them there at the Sahara."
Yeah.
And he says, if you like them, just tell me what you think of them.
Yeah.
When we were done with our show, Mark, we would go see whoever we could see.
Did you go see Shecky?
Was still playing at that time.
Yeah. Did you ever see Shecky Green?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Funny guy, right?
No, great funny guy and a good friend of mine.
Yeah?
Shecky.
I'm fascinated with that
We're
guy.
Very classy.
Yeah. How long were you in Vegas? I mean, when
we played with Nat, and then, like I said,
used to stay over.
You do 10 days with Nat, stay over 10 days with Sinatra, 10 days with Lena. What
was it like working with Frank? I mean, was he a sweet guy?
He was unbelievable.
Yeah?
He is Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Sinatra, in my estimation, was a classy, phenomenal singer, classy man, and a nice guy. I really adored him,
Yeah, and at that time, people would dress up for Vegas. Everybody looked nice.
Shirt and tie, the women in cocktail dresses, and looking beautiful like that. Mm-hmm. And the guys were shirt and ties.
Yeah. And did you when after the shows, was Dean Martin hanging around? Was Joey Bishop hanging around? Was everybody, Sandy?
Well, then I saw the Rat Pack together, and they were a class act, and they were real nice guys. Dean Martin would come in the casino, and he'd start to deal blackjack.
Well, he used to be a blackjack dealer.
Yeah.
In Steubenville,
Ohio.
That's right.
You're right, Mark.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story, man. He was the real deal.
Yeah.
So now how do you get from Vegas? Now, so you and Rossi you're making waves.
Now we're Allen and Rossi.
Right.
We start doing shows. We did Hollywood Squares at the beginning.
Together.
We did together.
Yeah.
We did Password.
Yeah.
Together. What's My Line? You name it, we did it.
So you were out there. Everyone knew who you were.
We did. Everybody now.
And then do you move to a headlining spot at that point?
No, then we became a headline, end up at the Copacabana in New York, which was the mecca of all show business.
What was that like? I mean, my only point of reference for that is watching something like Goodfellas. That's how I know it. That there was this.
Well, you worked and you say someday if you could make it, where would you like to be? Well, the pinnacle of all success for all singers and professional comics and so forth was the Copacabana. And we ended up at the Copacabana.
And you knew you'd arrived. That was it.
And that's it.
Yeah. And was it great?
Oh.
Yeah. What made it so...
Ecstasy.
Well, what made it so good, really? I mean, was it just the room? Or
That's
just
when my hair went wild.
That's what started the hair.
When I had the wild hair. I was the first one. That's why with the Beatles, you know, and they took that picture, they kept looking at me. In fact, the reason it was a photo of me with John Lennon. I walked over to John Lennon. He had no idea who I was. And I said, John? He said, yes. I said, a lot of people mistake me for you. And he got hysterical. He started laughing. He had no idea. And when I hit him with that line, he went crazy.
And that was at the Sullivan Show?
That was it, in 1964.
Were you the other guest on the show on their first American, on the first Sullivan?
We were on that big show in 1964.
The first time the Beatles were on American television, you were the other act.
Alan and Rossi.
How many acts on a Sullivan show?
There were other acts on also.
So I'm assuming that it didn't go well for you that night.
It didn't go well.
Well, would you have a bunch of screaming teenage girls waiting for the Beatles?
Yes, but when I came out and said, hello there, I'm Ringo's mother.
Boom!
The kids went, ah! Then they knew right off the bat.
You adapted, got them on your team, and they paid attention, huh?
They paid attention.
That must have been amazing.
And Steve, instead of singing an up-tempo, did more of an up-tempo song.
For the kids.
And I was dancing.
You were dancing.
And then we did a routine, and they reacted.
So you did it with the Beatles, and you got to hang out with the Beatles. But I got to assume, like, show business has never been any different in the sense that you two must have been backstage thinking, like, how are we gonna make this work?
Oh, well, we knew right off the bat it's going to be there had to be 100 police because there were 1,000 little girls, and they were yelling, John, Ringo, Paul, and I yelled, Marty, and they went, who?
Me. Oh my God! See, like I don't have any point of reference. I imagine a lot of people who listen to my show don't really know that the power of Ed Sullivan and just what that meant to an act.
Oh, it was the biggest show.
Yeah.
Well,
before the Tonight Show.
On television.
Yeah. And it was a variety show.
And so he had the greatest variety show, and you knew that every time Sullivan was on, and the people were mobbed.
Yeah, and also, like, it wouldn't be unusual to be there with a plate spinner or a dog act or
anything.
Jugglers, guys with things on fire.
Well, and a good friend of mine who was a big comic on the show.
Who?
Myron Cohen.
See that no one knows who that guy is now, and he was one of the biggest. He was the
guy that did Italian and Jewish and Polish. He did all kind of accents
and a lot of Yiddish
and a lot of all his humor was humor regarding the group.
Right, sure. Yeah. But like originally, I think when he was playing the hotels in the Borscht Belt, he almost performed exclusively in Yiddish, didn't he?
No, he did really in English.
Oh yeah,
but he was a brilliant man and a brilliant storyteller.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you spend time up there in the mountains?
Well, I knew Maron. I knew all those guys.
Who were the guys?
You name them, and I'll say yes.
Mousy Lawrence.
Mousy came later.
Who were I don't even know who the original guys were. There was Myron Cohen, and who else were the original guys?
Then Jackie Mason came along.
Yeah,
and all the big comics, Jerry Lewis.
Sure.
Everybody played the Catskills.
Was that a good gig?
Oh, the Catskills was phenomenal.
Yeah?
Oh, fabulous.
Why, because they took care of you? Or the good audiences?
Well, when you say took care of you, I'll give you an idea of what happened.
Okay.
the guy that ran, his name was Phil Greenwald. He booked all the shows, big shows. He had Sammy Davis. He had everybody big, all the Tony Bennett. Everybody played the Concord Hotel.
Right.
And at the Concord Hotel, he said to me, "They really like you, don't they?" I says, "Well, it's a great compliment." He says, "I want you to have lunch with me." And I'm saying, "Oh, I'll have lunch with you."
Yeah.
And there in having lunch was a woman who was the head of ran the hotel. She was more or less the general manager of booking all the guests. Her name was Lorraine Tridell. She was from Paris, France originally. And she was sitting there and she was laughing. And I said to her, "Where are you from?" She said, "Paris." I says, "France?" "Yes." And I said, "Well, I'm not only a comedian, but I collect art. I have photos of the various artists from Paris and famous photos of different things in Paris, and they're in my room." She says, "I've heard every kind of a remark from a comedian, but this is the first time I've ever heard anyone say this to me." They're in my room, meaning what? I said, "Well, I was going to say, if you came to my room," she says, "Oh, Marty, come on, you got to be kidding. Is this routine?" And I says, "No, I'm not doing this on a make." I said, "I'll tell you what, you stand outside the door of my room, I'll bring the pictures out." So she started laughing, stood out. I brought the pictures out. Not only brought the pictures out, Mark, but we were married for a long, long time. For over 15 to 17 years, and then she passed away. But we were very happily married. And we had a penthouse, and people used to say, "Where do you live, Marty?" I says, "I live in the Concord Hotel." No, where do you live? I says, "I live in the Concord Hotel." And the guy says, "How can you live in the Concord Hotel?" I said, "You think it's easy? I can't get help." And then
you did live there, though?
And now...
Where was the penthouse? You actually lived there or no?
Oh, yeah. We lived in a penthouse.
In the Concord?
In the Concord, which was one of the... It without a mind, one of the greatest hotels. So then eventually, after she passed away, Steve and I were together. And then we got to a point, Mark, where we had played everything. We'd been at the Copa 3-4 times, and they started to ask me, "Would you do an acting job? We'd like you to be a semi-regular on Hollywood Squares. We'd like you to do this show." And I said to Steve, "Well, we played everything. We've done everything. Could we part very amicably?" And as I sit here in front of you, in all honesty, we were the only team, I think, that ever parted friendly, and we remained friends all through life.
That's amazing.
Until he just passed away
recently. Sorry to hear that.
And then I became a semi-regular on Hollywood Squares with Paul Lynn.
That's what I remember.
And Charlie Weaver. And then I did Big Valley with Barbara Stanwyck.
Oh, wow.
I played the Jonah, and I was nominated for all kind of awards for my acting. I did a movie with Connie Stevens, and we went to Malta and did a movie. And I did other movies. I did a lot of movies and television. And then one day my agent took me to a restaurant in Los Angeles, and it was next door to his route, where he was, and walked in, and I saw the maitre d', who was a beautiful girl by the name of Karen Blackwell.
And he said, I have some pictures from Paris.
Mr. Allen. She says, Mr. Allen, what would you like? I says, a fruit cocktail, plate of fruit. And when she went, I wrote on the menu, I like the way you look in that dress. I like that more than the fruit cocktail. And we got married and we are married 30 years.
That's unbelievable. Did you guys work together?
We worked together all the time. She became my straight lady, and we became a hot act.
Oh yeah,
and it's Marty Allen and Karen Blackwell.
So when you and Rossi split, that was like the late '60s, right?
Yeah, after we split.
When did you work with Elvis?
Well, what happened with Elvis is when he did his big show in Las Vegas
in the '70s.
Yeah,
or earlier.
And the first time when he did that big show before Hawaii and all that, when he became like nobody could top him and the crowds were coming. I walk in the hotel, there's a photo of Elvis, and I see his two guards standing off to the side.
Sonny and Red?
And they spot me.
Yeah.
I go over to the picture and start kissing the photo and getting real close and doing all kind of wild things to the photo. Yeah. And they handcuffed me and took me backstage. Yeah. And Elvis says, "What's this?" And they said, "We found this pervert outside kissing your photo, making love to your photo." And he says, "It's Marty. You're Marty Allen." Yeah. And he took the handcuffs off me, and he was hysterical laughing. And then it was time for him to go out to do the show. Yeah. And they said, what about Marty? He's laughing. He says, "I'll tell you what, handcuff him to the door." So I thought they were kidding. Yeah. They handcuffed me, and I know Elvis is going to be out there for over 2 hours. Yeah. And finally a guard comes along. I keep hollering, and he says, "What are you doing in the dress?" He says, "You're Marty Allen." "Yeah." "What are you doing?" I said that they did a joke, and they forgot, and they handcuffed me. "Can you get me out of it?" And he got the handcuff, took it, and I saw all the scarves lying on the bed. I put one on my head like a babushka. Yeah. Ran out, and there are thousands of girls. I go up to the ringside and get right close to the ring, right up to the ring, and Elvis is coming by with his scarf. "Love me, tender, love me." And I look up and I go, "I love you, I love you." Yeah. He almost collapsed, and that was the beginning of our relationship. And eventually he came to see me one night when it was dark. He walked in with two of his guards. I was doing an Elvis Presley
impersonation,
a takeoff on him, doing the whole routine. And he got hysterical. In fact, he wrote me a fan letter saying, "You're 99 plus," and he signed it EP.
Did you end up opening for him?
No, I never worked.
You were just buddies.
I was never one of those comics who worked that worked
with him.
But our relationship, he would mention me. He would say something about my hair, or he'd be singing a song, and he says, "And I love you, Marty," or something in which he...
Was he a funny guy?
He was a nice man. There's no way to describe. He was a terrific... How do you explain something like that? Yeah. He was Elvis Presley...
And you could feel it.
In my estimation, one of the greats of our business. You say Sinatra, #1 Nat King Cole, Elvis Presley. These are kind of stars.
Yeah.
And they were friendly, and they were nice people, and never, none of that conceit or any of that.
And real professionals.
Real professional.
And Elvis put on a hell of a show.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was nobody. He hypnotized the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like Sinatra.
Yeah.
The
next generation.
Yeah.
And I was told that you had on the Sullivan Show there was a couple of interesting, almost problems. What was the Zulu bit?
We did a routine at the time when the Peace Corps was a big deal, and Steve played a member of the Peace Corps, and I was a Zulu native that he was going to interview. Sullivan is sitting putting his makeup on, and Steve, he just asked, what routine are you doing? He said, we're doing the Peace Corps, and Marty plays a Zulu warrior. He says, no, you're not. And Steve started laughing. He said, what do you mean, no, we're not? He says, you're not doing that routine. He says, why? He says, because I have 100 Zulu dancers on the show tonight. I have no conception, and I'm in that outfit, and I'm going down to put on makeup, and I walk down the steps, and I see all these natives wearing the same outfit, and I can't believe, and I said, what is that? And I run up and I said, Ed, there are guys that look like Zulus on the show. He said they are real Zulu dancers. So I said, what are we going to do? Now, we had an hour before the show.
Yeah.
We ran across the street. I got a Japanese helmet, cap, and we played the manager of the World's Fair, the manager of the Japanese pavilion. I changed all the jokes. Steve and I changed all the jokes, and we went out and did this.
How'd it work?
And it worked. And then we would eat at a famous restaurant called Danny's Hideaway. And Ed was having dinner there one night, and he said to me, when are you going to do your Zulu routine? And I said, if I had a pot, I'd hit you, Ed. It was hysterical.
It's interesting because so many of the routines that used to be sort of commonplace at that time would be considered insensitive now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And back then...
the Peace Corps was a big thing. I was playing a regular Zulu warrior and being interviewed. I had no conception that he would have Zulu dancers on the show.
So when you grew up, like knowing Myron Cohen and knowing the Catskills and having spent as much time as you spent up there, how much was being Jewish or being brought up Jewish part of it?
I wasn't thinking that way.
No, but I mean, were you? Because I'm Jewish. Most of the comics were Jewish.
Well, they weren't all. They were regular comics. Nobody was doing Jewish.
Yeah.
Except. There may have been a couple.
Yeah.
But there wasn't like what you're thinking. It was all the acts would go every weekend.
Yeah.
You meet at a drugstore in New York called Hanson's. Did you play the Catskills today? And the famous hotels. Grossinger's, the Concord, Brown's, Neville.
I just always pictured it like for some reason, like I guess I romanticized it because I'm a Jewish kid. I grew up in New Mexico.
It wasn't.
It didn't feel that way?
There was a Jewish population that came up there on the weekends, but it wasn't that you played it that way.
No.
Because in the nightclub at the Concord was like playing the Copacabana.
Right.
Because they had Tony Bennett.
Right.
You had Sammy Davis.
Right.
You had, you name the guy.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Who were the guys? There's so many comics that Like that that people don't know. Because like, now there's like hundreds and hundreds of comics. But it was like that when you were starting out too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of guys that never made it that, that were really funny and no one knows who they are.
Yeah.
Did you know a lot of guys that were hilarious that no one would know?
Well, you have that same thing today.
Yeah.
Where there are a lot of guys that are working, but they never become as well known as the ones that I knew at the time.
Yeah.
And I take pride in the fact that I know great comedian, Shecky, you mentioned Shecky,
yeah.
who's not only a great comedian, but a good friend, Jackie Mason.
Yeah.
These kind of guys. And I worked with them growing up during their time, their period of when they were entertaining.
When you were in Vegas, Shecky gets sort of credited with, sort of creating the lounge act. That, like he would play the small room and just,
Oh, yeah. But you would go in and know how great he was.
Yeah.
The lounges were fantastic.
Yeah.
Because you would go in and say, like a singer like Jerry Vale would be in the lounge.
Right.
Or some other famous singer.
Yeah. Before they got big.
Eventually they became big names.
So that was the way it worked. You do the lounge.
That was it. A lot of them worked in lounges. And then from the lounges, when I went down to see Louis Prima and Keeley, Rickles was also in the lounge. And then boom, he became a big star.
It must have been amazing to see him in the lounge. It's a smaller room, right?
Yeah.
And just to see him work with that crowd.
Yeah, but he worked so good.
Yeah.
That eventually the people took to him, and he became a big star.
So quick.
And deservedly so.
So quick.
In fact, when I'm in Vegas, I live in Vegas. And,
do you?
And they say, who do you go to see? Like, who do you go to as a comedian?
Yeah.
Who do you like? Oh, well, I like Tony Bennett. But if I go to see a comedian, it's either Shecky or Rickles. Those are my two favorites. They hit me hard.
I just saw Rickles in Canada. He's like, what is he, almost 90? And he sits down, but he's sharp. Man.
He's sharp.
So sharp.
We just saw Karen and I just went to see him.
Did you win some sort of did someone? I saw something on YouTube where they were presenting you with like a Tropicana award, or did someone give you?
Oh no, the Louis Prima award was presented by his daughter.
Oh yeah.
But right now on YouTube, there are 2 DVDs of Karen Blackwell singing by the time I go to Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I Pray Before. 2 songs that are phenomenal. And I did a quickie that you got to take a look. It's called Marty Allen's Secret.
Oh, I saw that.
I want you to know. Just go watch it.
I saw that.
You'll fall down. You'll fall down.
Do you still perform?
Is he kidding me? I love that. That's a great line. Of course. Yeah.
That's amazing.
With a cane and everything.
Yeah.
We just came back. We were in Michigan and Milwaukee. In Milwaukee, we played a famous casino, Potawatomi.
Yeah.
And that's where I met this wonderful...
And how do you find the audience now? Who comes out?
They're hysterical.
Yeah.
They're good audiences and just great.
Do you play Vegas still?
We play Vegas.
Well, how do you feel? Do you feel like Vegas has changed? Is it a different place now? Is there?
Well, no. I can't say that it's any different.
Right.
Because I get great reaction.
Right.
I enjoy, and we're still working, and Karen opens the show, sings. She sings like you can't believe. She plays the piano like Jerry Lee Lewis.
Wow.
And she's a straight lady like you can't believe.
So she does the Rossi lines?
She does, and we have many routines that we haven't done, but she does...
you do husband.
We have taken some of the old routines and rewritten them and made them to fit us.
Do you do like married couple stuff? Do you do that? Like that
married?
Kind of, well, I mean, like, do you talk about?
Well, once in a while we kid around, but
you don't do a shtick.
We don't do married.
But you're married, aren't you?
30 years.
Say, and you never thought to go on stage and do and bicker and play a married couple?
No, we don't do that.
Why?
No, we never bicker.
Well, that's why I say that's why it would be funny. You make it up. Okay.
We really enjoy each other on stage. Mm-hmm. And when you get off stage, as it was with Steve and as it is with her, when you get off, you don't discuss it. You don't say, well, why didn't you do that joke? Or why didn't you say so-and-so at that time? You just forget it. You walk out.
When you look back at the whole career, I mean, what do you got? Like, now you got like, what, almost 80 years in show business. What was the biggest thrill?
The biggest thrill?
Yeah.
The fact that I was going to be on a Marc Maron show.
Yeah. Good answer. This is it. 45 Sullivans. He met the Beatles. Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, but this is it. This is a high point because we're both still at it.
Whoa, when I heard that you asked for me, I couldn't believe it. I cried for a half hour.
Oh, I'm so glad
I said, oh my, the Mark wants me on the show.
I'm so glad you pulled it together to make the appearance. It sounds like you were overwhelmed with emotion.
Hey, we drove all the way down, and tonight, I'm doing the autograph section.
So, he's telling me it was the most exciting day of his life today. You're driving up here. He's like, where the hell is this place, right?
No, okay. The further up we were going, I said, we're getting close.
What the hell happened in show business? This is a guy's garage.
No.
This is it.
It doesn't matter.
No, sir.
You got the talent.
Yeah, I'm all right.
And you got the place.
And I got the microphones.
And you got the
That's
microphone.
All you need.
And you got the people listening to you.
Yeah.
And saying that your show is good.
Who are your favorite comics looking back? Outside of Shecky and Don. I mean, guys with Myron.
A lot of them are in Washington.
yeah. Always. There's a new batch of comedians every few years in Washington.
Yeah. They keep changing.
But who were the guys that you watched when you were a kid that influenced the way you sort of did shtick?
Well, I thought the Marx Brothers were phenomenal.
Right, yeah.
Laurel and Harvey.
Did you meet Groucho?
Oh, I knew Groucho very well.
Yeah? He must have been something. He was quick, huh?
Yeah, great mind.
Yeah.
Great physical mind.
Yeah.
I would say Groucho and Abbott and Costello.
Oh, how funny was he?
That
must be like that.
I thought they were the kind of people that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Laughed at.
Well, that was sort of a classic team thing, too. There's the thing that you and Rossi had. Like, there's not a lot of teams that do it anymore, but that was a classic straight man, and you were just, over the top.
Yeah.
And that was the way Abbott and Costello
But I thought Laurel and Hardy and Abbott and Costello and the Marx Brothers.
Uh-huh.
In my beginning.
Yeah.
These were the ones.
Yeah.
That I thought of so much of.
Did you? I interviewed Dick Van Dyke, and when he got to Hollywood, he actually looked up Stan Laurel in the phone book.
Yeah.
And went to his house to meet him.
Well, by the way, Dick Van Dyke did a terrific job.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's still good. He's clear. He's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a wife that keeps him going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was a thrill to talk to you, and I'm happy you're alive and still working. And
we enjoy working, and I enjoy doing these autograph sessions.
What is that exactly? So
well, a lot of celebrities. You go in a room and one sits next to each other. Like last time was Dan Haggerty. Hasselhoff, Marty Allen, Bo Derek. And one sits next to each other. People come in and buy your photo. And they buy the photos.
Okay.
And tonight I brought a stack because everybody called me up. You got to come with the Beatle photo.
Yeah.
So I got the photo with the Beatles and Marty Allen and whatever.
And the book is on Kindle. Hello, Dad.
The book, you are the first one to know. It just went on about a half hour ago.
Do you remember?
And the guy that called my wife and said, Karen, the book has been accepted. You can tell him he can say it on the Marc Maron show.
You were like, oh, my God, everything's working out for me. Do you remember the first time you said, hello there?
Hello there. Yeah, that became my famous thing. You try to get a catchphrase, you know. I'm a bad boy. Lucas
bad boy.
I'm a bad boy.
Yeah.
And different sayings like that.
Yeah.
So I try to think of something, and I always knew the expression, hello there.
Yeah.
It's a great warm feeling.
Yeah.
So I changed it to hello there, D-E-R-E.
Yeah.
In fact, kids would go to school, they write D-E-R-E. Teachers say, that is not the way. Oh, yeah, Marty Allen. Hello there.
Yeah. Who's the other guy who was on did you know Bill Dana?
Bill Dana, yeah.
Jose Jimenez?
Yeah.
Is he
Bill
still
Dana,
around?
he did the Going to the Moon.
Yeah. And how about Senior Winces? Did you know that guy?
Senior Winces. Oh, yeah, the old man, yeah. We did a show.
Yeah.
I think he was 100 years old on a radio show. Mm-hmm. And it was in Atlantic City.
Okay.
And I did it with him.
Oh, good.
And he was very nice.
Yeah.
I go with the attitude, Mark. I'm not jealous of anybody. I believe anybody that's got a chance to make it.
Yeah.
You know, that's hey, good luck.
Yeah.
To be in the business is a warm feeling.
Yeah.
And like I say, if you get a chance to make it.
Well, you did it.
And I never took jokes from anybody. I just try to have my own routines and have the attitude, hey, you're funny.
Yeah.
Like I say, like what you said.
Yeah.
You go sit and watch Rickles.
Yeah.
And you laugh.
Yeah.
You you really laugh at the guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or you see Shecky and you're laughing.
Kills me.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. I was sitting there watching Rickles the other night.
I don't sit there and say, why is he doing this?
Yeah.
Or would this routine fit in with mine?
Yeah.
No. I just love the man or the person.
Yeah.
And like I say, there are many girls that are terrific comedians.
Yep.
And
did you know Joan?
Joan was terrific.
The greatest, huh?
May she rest in peace.
Yeah.
She was a terrific entertainer.
Yeah.
Terrific comedian.
Yep.
And when I was on the Gary Moore show, the number one girl, Carol Burnett.
Yeah. She's still around, huh?
We did Alan and Rossi and I, we did a show with Carol Burnett. Oh, well, there's no way to explain Carol Burnett.
Yeah.
She would be the top of all.
Yeah, because she could do anything.
There's nothing she could do. She could do routine. She could sing, dance. She would be like a female Sinatra.
Wow.
That's how I see Carol Burnett.
Is she still around? Do you talk to her? Yeah.
I think she just wrote another book, if I recall.
Well, that's great, man. You've had a great career.
She's going on stage, and she does routines.
Yeah. Routines.
And I'm happy for her. I'm happy for anybody that makes it and does good in the business.
I'm happy for you.
Oh, thank you.
It was great to see you, and it was a pleasure to talk to you.
It was a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.